So finally, we have got our first updated blog post on the Star Wars Hunters website since the launch of the game, with some pretty exciting info in here. Now, there's nothing enormous just yet. There's no big pieces of news in here, but there is essentially just a few teasers of what's to come in the next few weeks and months for the game, and it sounds very, very exciting for those of you who are enjoying Star Wars Hunters so far. So today I'm going to run you guys through the blog post, give you everything you need to know, as well as my thoughts on all of it as well. And so without wasting any time, let's get stuck right into it. Now, they start off by saying, thank you so much for joining us in the arena on beautiful Vespara since Star Wars Hunters officially launched worldwide on June 4th. We've loved seeing so many players getting to meet our hunters, and the team is so excited to read and hear the great feedback you guys have shared. This blog post is a source for news about future plans for Star Wars Hunters, from feature and content roadmaps to feedback from the development team, and hopefully even a few surprises along the way too. Here's a reminder of some of the highlights we have lined up for Season 1. They then just showed this graphic, which I'm sure a lot of you guys have already seen. It actually popped up in-game around a week ago for the first time, and it pretty much just shows off some of the stuff that's coming throughout this season. Now, the next line is very interesting. It says, the enthusiasm we have seen to bring Star Wars Hunters to platforms beyond mobile and Nintendo Switch has been exciting, and although we don't have any news about additional platforms for Star Wars Hunters right now, we are always looking at ways to bring new players into the arena. I'm not going to lie, that is a very promising paragraph here from that blog post. We're only 3 paragraphs in, and they're already talking about potentially the fact that they could open this game up to more platforms in the future. Now, I want you guys to just take that with a grain of salt. That does not confirm they're going to be bringing it to PlayStation and Xbox. It even just says there, although we don't have any news about additional platforms for Star Wars Hunters right now. So that is not confirmation, but the way that that is worded, where it says we don't have plans for that right now, we're always looking at ways, that is definitely very exciting. I did not expect to see that so early. I thought we would honestly have to wait 6 to 12 months before they even mentioned anything like this. So again, take it with a grain of salt, but that is definitely a promising sign to hear this early on. It's essentially one of the first things they address in the entire blog post, is just talking about how many people want this on next-gen consoles. And like I've said in previous videos, I think hearing all this feedback from the player base, as well as seeing how well received the game has been so far, I honestly think they would be stupid to not, at the very least, consider it. And to be honest, if they're going to consider it, then I think they'd also be equally stupid to not just do it, because it just seems like it would be such a great idea for the game. It would mean more players for us to play with. It would mean more money coming in for them. It seems like it is just a win for everyone, really. Now, moving beyond that, they then touch on some matchmaking stuff. They said, we've also heard some of your concerns with matchmaking since Star Wars Hunters has entered worldwide launch, particularly from those of you who have been with us since our soft launch period. We've taken steps to reduce timeouts while also preserving match quality, and we'll continue to monitor performance and make adjustments as needed. Our goal is to ensure everyone can play the game while having a fair and fun experience. Please keep the feedback coming and let us know if you see that the work the team is doing is helping you get into games more quickly. So I'm not 100% sure what that section is in regards to. It may be to do with the bots, in that if you guys didn't know, after a certain amount of time searching, if there isn't a game, it will kind of just throw you into a lobby where maybe there's 3 other real players and the rest is just filled with bots. They may be talking about potentially increasing the time that it actually takes to do that, or I guess reducing the time that it takes so that we get into games quicker. Personally, I don't really want to see that. I love essentially not playing against bots in most games. So yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see what that exactly means, but regardless, it is good that they're talking about the matchmaking. I definitely have noticed, at least in ranked anyway, not so much in casual, but in ranked it is taking sometimes 30 to 45 seconds to find a game, which isn't too bad. It's not like that's something I'm going to complain about, but I have noticed that that feels a little bit longer than it was in previous seasons, even though there's obviously a lot more players now. So yeah, not too sure exactly what they mean there, but hopefully we get a little bit more transparency on that moving forward. Now, next up, they touch on the mobile/Nintendo Switch cross-platform account linking issues, which I've actually seen a lot of people in the comments, mostly early on when the game launched. A lot of you guys were concerned about you couldn't get your accounts linked between each platform. They said here, we became aware of an issue affecting Nintendo Switch players who were attempting to link their mobile Star Wars Hunters account to their Nintendo Switch after having previously played the game on Switch. If you're experiencing this issue, it will be necessary to contact our player support team in order to link your accounts. To expedite the process, please provide the player ID numbers for both accounts, which are listed on the account tab in the settings inside the game. Please note which player ID number is the mobile device account number associated with the progress and items you wish to retrieve. retrieve and which player ID number is the one currently associated with your Nintendo Switch. They can then update the account data and successfully link your account. So there is actually a link in that paragraph that allows you to contact the player support team. What I'll do is I'll leave a link to this actual blog post down in the description. So if you guys have had this issue, you can go to that and click on that link and it will allow you to pretty much do the steps they just said. I've only seen a few people talk about this, but yeah, if you guys are affected, then hopefully that helps you guys get that sorted. Now at this point, they get into the more juicy details from this blog post, and this is definitely where this starts to get a little bit interesting. Like I said, there's a lot of little teasers and stuff as they do begin to talk about what is coming throughout the rest of this season and even in seasons beyond. They said we have several new and exciting events running to welcome new players over the next few weeks in season 1. These events include Raw Anger featuring Damage Hunters, Earn Your Place featuring Ranked Mode, and this season's Clash event Cost of Honor. Players will join the side of Mandalorian Vanguard Aaron Tal or Notorious Bounty Hunter Amara Vex and score for their team by completing challenges. Players can complete events to earn Arena Pass XP, credits, fame, and cosmetics. Now, before I get on to the rest of it, that part right there, especially the final bit of that, the Cost of Honor Clash event, that sounds very, very fun to me. Now, if you guys were around during essentially the launch of Battlefront 2, it was back in, I think, December of 2017 when this event took place, and it was right after The Last Jedi launched. What they did in Battlefront 2 was they had this like pick your side event where you either had to pick the First Order or pick the Resistance. You would choose that, I guess, allegiance, and then for the next, I think it was around a month, simply playing the game and like completing a few challenges and stuff would earn sort of points for the team that you chose. Now, funnily enough, pretty much everyone chose the First Order. It was something crazy, like 80% of players. And so anyone who picked the First Order, they were then completing challenges for the First Order, and that meant that anyone who picked that allegiance actually got some really cool rewards, because obviously with 80% of the players completing those challenges, we got through them very, very quick. So this kind of sounds a little bit similar to that. We are going to have to wait and see how it actually plays out, but it does sound like it is a similar thing where us as players, we're going to have to choose either Aaron Tal or Amara Vex, and that doesn't mean you have to play every game as them or anything like that. It just means you are picking allegiance to one of those characters. And then, I'll be honest, I'd imagine everyone is going to pick Aaron Tal because he is way cooler than Amara Vex. At that point, all of us who pick Aaron Tal, we're then going to complete challenges, and I'd imagine since most people will pick Aaron Tal, we're going to get through those challenges pretty quickly. It's almost like a community-based event where it'll be like get 10 million kills as Aaron Tal, and we're all completing it as a community. So if it is going to be like that, that's going to be very awesome. I've been wanting that sort of thing ever since they did it in Battlefront 2, and honestly I think it is the perfect game to do it when it comes to Star Wars Hunters. Now, they actually had a little bit of info here about Aaron Tal as well. They said, speaking of Aaron Tal, he is our first Hunter of the Week. Did you know Aaron is a champion both inside and outside of the arena? He gives most of his arena winnings away to charity. We've already got almost 1,500 players that have taken Aaron Tal to fame at level 25. So it sounds like there is a lot of people out there who are really enjoying Aaron Tal. The fact that 1,500 people have already maxed him out, that is very interesting. I've actually played a fair amount as Aaron Tal, and I'm only about level 13 or something. So there's a lot of people out there putting in the grind, and that is a pretty cool little fact that they gave us there. Now, they end off the blog post with something very exciting. They said, in the coming weeks, we will start to tell you more about our plans for the future of Star Wars Hunters, which will introduce new content, battlefield, game modes, and new hunters. We are excited for what's to come and to continue receiving your feedback as we deliver the best game that we can. The galaxy is watching. Stay tuned for all the action. So that part right there is definitely very exciting. It literally says in the coming weeks. So I'd imagine that means in 2 to 3 weeks, maybe, we will be starting to hear about new content on the way. They said new content, battlefields, obviously meaning new maps, even new game modes as well. And especially it says not just a new hunter, it says new hunters, plural. So it seems it is not too far away now that we'll be finally hearing, who the next hunter is. I'd imagine we'll get probably confirmation of the next hunter, which I'm going to assume will be Chaos, the KX series droid. For those of you who don't know what a KX series is, that is the same type of droid as K2SO, and it is essentially all but confirmed that will probably be the next hunter coming to the game. But again, we're gonna have to wait and see. But the fact they've said new hunters with an S, that makes me optimistic we could potentially actually hear about multiple different hunters rather than just getting confirmation of Chaos. So that is definitely very exciting. And as you can expect, all of that news will be covered right here on the channel. So if you guys are new to the channel and you are enjoying Star Wars Hunters, be sure to subscribe, because anytime we get any news like this, you can expect to see it right here on the channel. But that is pretty much it for the first blog post, or I guess technically this is actually the second blog post because they did one on the day of launch, but this is essentially the first blog post since the game has been live. And like I said, it is definitely very exciting. I'm keen to hear all of your thoughts down in the comments, so be sure to leave them down below. But with that being said, thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and may the force be with you always.